Hello and welcome to this edition of FYI Weekly, your official source for City of Greensboro news and information. The role of Greensboro's first Chief Sustainability Officer will be held by Dr. Shamika Dorastent. She will be responsible for making the city a more environmentally focused organization while helping the greater Greensboro community become more environmentally, economically, and socially sustainable. Deputy City Manager Chris Wilson said the future of our beautiful city is vitally dependent on more sustainable practices that recognize the value of our environment. Adding this position solidifies our commitment, and Dr. Dorastent will help us move in this positive direction. Dorastent has worked for the New York City Department of Environmental Protection since 2015. There, she developed and implemented a stormwater management program. Over the past years, the Alabama native has served as an online adjunct professor for courses such as environmental health, policy and government, natural resources, and climate change at both Grand Canyon University and Southern New Hampshire University. Dorastent officially starts on June 1st. The Greensboro Urban Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO, has released its draft program of projects for a 30-day public review and comment period from now through June 12th. A public hearing on the documents will take place during the MPO Transportation Advisory Committee's online meeting taking place on Wednesday, June 22nd. The draft program of projects is a list of planned federal and state transit grants to support bus and paratransit services in the current fiscal year. The proposed grants are for the Greensboro Transit Authority, the Piedmont Authority for Regional Transportation, and Guilford County Transportation and Mobility Services, all of which operate in the Greensboro MPO area. The draft program of projects is available for review online. Written comments on these documents are due by 5 p.m. on Sunday, June 12th. Send comments to Tram Truong by sending a fax to 336-412-6171 or by mailing comments to P.O. Box 3136, Greensboro, North Carolina 27402. NC Works, along with several social service providers and employers, will host the Career and Gear Employment and Resource Fair. The event will take place from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Wednesday, May 25th. This job fair will be outdoors in the Four Seasons Town Center parking lot, Quarry Boulevard entrance. Participating organizations and employers include Cone Health Medical Mobile Unit, Greensboro Housing Authority, Guilford Technical Community College, Job Corps, Vet Center of North Carolina, Guilford County Department of Public Health Mobile Testing, PACE of the Triad, StarMed Healthcare COVID Testing, Guilford County Transportation and Mobility Services, and Step Up Greensboro, along with many other organizations. Families and individuals will receive information about resources available through NC Works and other partners. The NC Works Mobile Career Center, equipped with Wi-Fi, laptops, and staff, will be on site to assist participants in registering for program assistance, including employment opportunities. For more information about the event, visit the Guilford Works website. The city developed a partnership with Cone Health to share a series of brief and informative videos designed to inspire you to make better choices when it comes to healthy living. Following these tips is an easy way to help each of us improve our quality of life. Let's take a moment to check out today's news for your health.
1 in 4 Americans suffer from allergies. Don't let the things that contribute to your symptoms stop you from enjoying your activities. I am Dr. Rosalind Hicks, an allergist from Allergy and Asthma Center of North Carolina, a member of Cone Health Medical Group. Let's get started and talk about allergies. Allergies are the common cold. Very similar entities. They both consist of a lot of congestion, runny nose, sneezing. Typically with the common cold, you're going to have, starting out, a little more scratchy throat, sore throat. and you often a little bit of fever. Both can have cough because of the postnasal drip, and you're going to feel a little lousy with the common cold, will run down, dehydrated, those kind of things. And then with allergies, it can be any time of year. Cold may be more common in the winter season, and allergies can be with exposure. You just mow the lawn? Did you just take care of the cat or dog? Did you just clean out the attic with lots of dust? So those are the things we think about to differentiate between a common cold and allergies. The common triggers kind of fall into two categories: indoor, outdoor, seasonal, or year-round. So in the spring, we think a lot about tree pollen, followed by grass pollen and weed pollen, and then we have dust, mite, cockroach, mold, which can be indoors and out, and then any kind of furried animal, dog, cat, gerbil, any of those. So clearly, if we're sensitive to the animals, then we shouldn't have animals, we shouldn't be exposed to them, but we can't really control completely pollen exposure. So if you go outside, if you're doing something involving that exposure, then wearing a mask, if you have to mow the grass, wiping off your hands and feet, taking off your shoes before you walk through the house so you don't track the pollen through, minimizing the window being down as you ride down the road, and wiping off the cats and dogs when they come in from their walk so the pollen is not throughout the house and on the furniture, those kind of things. Well, of course, avoidance would be the biggest action that we could participate in to try to minimize symptoms, but side of that, adding medications to minimize the congestion, sneezing, runny nose. I'm a huge proponent of saline rinse, and so that's something easy that's not medicated. It's just salt water flushing out or clearing out the nasal passages so we can take away those allergens that we've been breathing in. I think it is very important to prepare for allergy season so that you can minimize your suffering and you don't have so much congestion and headache or disrupted activity. I like to encourage people to start their medications around Valentine's Day, and usually that'll minimize their symptoms and they can go into the allergy season ahead and symptom-free. It is important for individuals to think about allergy testing if they're having lots of symptoms, uncontrolled symptoms, they've tried multiple medications, or they feel like there's one specific thing that they're really interested in knowing that they're allergic to. And especially if you have upper and lower airway symptoms, if you're coughing and wheezing, then that has become quite the standard for management to consider allergy injections. And we need to know exactly what you're allergic to be able to put in your specific vial so that we can manage you with the injections if we have the positive testing available there. And in the situation where you may be food allergic, having allergy testing can be very informative to know what to avoid. Thank you for joining us. I hope all this information has been helpful to decrease your suffering from allergies. For more information, go to conehealth.com/wellness. I'm Dr. Rosalind Hicks.
Creative Greensboro is hosting a new arts residency focused on fabric design, and A Taste of Paris returns to the Bicentennial Garden. We'll have those stories and more news coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. Visual artist Jasmine Best is hosting a Greensboro residency for original works through June 26th. The focus is on the creation of large textile works of art using various local materials. Participants will explore personal identity and the connection between body, community, and nature. The residency touches on fiber arts and specialized workshops on a variety of topics, including rug tufting and fabric designing. All events are free to attend at the Greensboro Cultural Center. Registration is required for the fabric plant-making workshops. Jasmine Best is a Southern artist who gathers narratives from her Carolinian roots to create dialogue about the Black female identity in the South and in predominantly white spaces. Best holds a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro and was recently awarded the Art Business Grant from Artwork Archive. For more information about the GROW residency, visit the Creative Greensboro website. The Parisian Promenade returns to the Tanger family Bicentennial Garden. Greensboro Beautiful will host the event from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday, June 5th. Admission is free. Experience the sights, smells, and sounds of a spring afternoon in Paris right here in Greensboro. This festive event highlights nature while featuring artists along the garden walkways. Local painters and photographers will exhibit and sell their works. Enjoy fencing duels, sword demonstrations, stilt walkers, a strolling accordion player, hula hoop artist, and an aerial artist will be suspended 20 feet above the lawn. Food cafes will have something to satisfy everyone's palate. Beer and wine will also be available for purchase. The Parisian Promenade will offer a children's area for kids of all ages. Dogs of all sizes are welcome to participate in the parade at 3 p.m. as long as they're leashed and accompanied by a handler. A complimentary shuttle will run throughout the afternoon, and handicap parking will be available in the Bicentennial Garden parking lot. For more information, visit Greensboro Beautiful's website. The Greensboro Police Department is resuming the traditional format for National Night Out, which will take place on Tuesday, August 2nd. The department is thrilled to host the in-person event with potential modifications to keep COVID safety in mind. Neighborhoods planning to participate in National Night Out will need to register. The registration deadline is Friday, July 15th. GPD will supply participating neighborhoods with balloons, t-shirts, and a yard sign. National Night Out is a unique crime and drug prevention event sponsored by the Greensboro Police Department. The purpose is to enhance the relationship between neighbors and law enforcement while bringing back a sense of community. For more information or to sign up for National Night Out, call the Office of Community Engagement at 336-373-2636. The Greensboro Police Department will be in search of a new leader as its top cop prepares for retirement at the end of this month. Coming up after the break, we'll talk to Greensboro Police Chief Brian James. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. Leading an agency as large as the Greensboro Police Department is no small feat. In the coming months, a national search will take place for a new chief of police. Joining me now to tell us about his experience with GPD for the past 26 years and his plans to retire is Greensboro Police Chief Brian James. Hello, Chief. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell me, in all the years you've been with the city, what is what you would say the most rewarding part of your GPD career?
The most rewarding part, without a doubt, has been the people that I've connected with. Not only did I grow up here, but certainly I went to school here and formed a lot of great connections through my work and just through my personal interactions. Had the opportunity to serve on a number of boards and volunteer experiences that I've had. So without a doubt, the people.
Nice. It's nice to be homegrown and to be able to really come full circle in terms of your community service. And this role certainly puts you square in the community. So you did quite a few things, quite a few initiatives that you brought to the table as chief. Talk about the impact of the Youth Jobs Initiative you introduced last year.
Well, last year we were trying to come up with some ways to not only combat crime, but try to form better connections. And certainly during the summer, it's a time when youth tend to, do things, make decisions, sometimes bad decisions, and it can change the trajectory of their life. So we thought of the jobs program. And it's had an enormous impact. Not only did it give some of our youth in Greensboro great opportunities, but it formed better relationships with communities, because when you form relationships with the kids, you form relationships with their parents. And so we were really happy to do that. We've launched it again this year. And my hope is that even after I'm gone, that this program will continue for years to come. It's certainly needed, and it's certainly been a success.
Absolutely, and that's great. I mean, at least 500 jobs that are offered up, and it's youth in those very, as you say, critical age gaps, 16 to 24. So congratulations on the success of that. And how has adding the behavioral health response team changed policing or improved policing?
Well, it's changed it and improved it, and I'll tell you why. First of all, years ago when I first got on the department, we certainly didn't have some of the knowledge that we had around mental health. And what we realize is that many of the calls that we go on even if they're not classified as a mental health call, there's oftentimes a mental condition that's present. So we were able to form this team, and really what elevated it was that we selected officers that wanted to do that kind of work, that were specially suited to do that work. And then we added the clinicians that ride with the officers. So by doing that, we are able to respond to a majority of our mental health calls with more highly trained individuals. And the clinicians, not only do they respond, but they also do follow-up. So one of the gaps that we've seen over the years is that oftentimes we respond over and over to the same locations, to the same people, and much of that is because they were not receiving any kind of follow-up care. So the clinicians actually follow up and make sure that they actually get connected to a mental health professional. And what that does over the long term, it reduces the number of repeat calls. And I'm proud of that program, and as we've done it, we've had a number of agencies that have reached out to us that have actually come to visit us to say, hey, how are you doing this? How is it working? Because they want to launch their own program.
Excellent. Always trailblazing, and Greensboro is often the trendsetter. So what are you most proud of that you were able to accomplish as Chief of Police?
Well, I mean, certainly when I took the job, there are many things that happened that we didn't anticipate. One was the pandemic. We've all dealt with that. But then we had the social unrest after the murder of George Floyd. And what I would say is this, is that we turned that tragedy in our community into an opportunity, because what it did, it opened the door for a lot of conversations that we never had before. And I personally and much of my command staff and officers were able to connect with people that we never really sat down with and had a good conversation. And what I would say is that even in the midst of that tragedy and the critical eye on law enforcement, we actually came out with having better relationships with the community than we did previously. So I'd like to say that we turned a tragedy into an opportunity, and I'm very proud of that.
And that's so important to be able to make those connections, and what seems like on a higher level than what you were doing prior. So what advice do you have for officers who are just starting their career or maybe just getting into the police force?
What I would say is get to know your community. When you have a chance, get out of the car and talk to the people who don't always call the police. Just let them know who you are, because those relationships down the line, at some point, I guarantee you, they'll be valuable. And because of what we do, certainly it's a controversial profession because of some of the things that we have to do sometimes. And it's important that we gain the trust of the people in the neighborhoods where we're working to keep them safe. And but the best advice, something I did early in my career when I wasn't on a call, I'd park the car. If I saw somebody sitting on the front porch or doing some yard work, especially this time of year now, it's very warm, get out of the car and talk to people and just start building those relationships one at a time.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tease you because you are getting ready to retire.
Okay.
So clearly don't look old enough to retire.
Yeah,
so we're all going to try to do like you and look as young as you are when we retire. But what's on your list of things to do? Like first day of retirement?
Well, maybe not the first day, but I certainly want to take a really nice vacation.
Okay.
I want to do that. I haven't had a chance to really vacation much. I've maybe gone down to the beach maybe once or so, but want to take a really nice vacation, have some time to decompress, hopefully spend some time with some friends and family that I haven't had a chance to spend time with in a while, but just really try to enjoy myself initially, and then eventually I'm planning to go back to work.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a plan. You've certainly well-deserved, and we congratulate you on your retirement, and thank you for all your years of service to the city, and best wishes for your future endeavors.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Stay tuned for some interesting and useful information about Greensboro as we tell you something about the city. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. One way to stay informed about decisions that impact you and our city is by attending or tuning in to City Council meetings at 5:30 p.m. on the first and third Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday is reserved for a meeting as needed. The City Council has resumed meeting in the Katie Dorsett Council Chamber on Level 2 of the Melvin Municipal Office Building, located at 300 West Washington Street. The public is allowed in person, but only in a limited capacity. Those who choose not to be in the building can participate virtually. The Greensboro City Council meetings are broadcast right here on GTN. The meetings are also streamed live on the city's website and on Roku. To review the council meeting schedule and agendas, please visit the city's website. Here's an opportunity to learn a little something about the city. Music for a Sunday evening in the park, or the MUSEP concert series, will return for its 43rd season on June 5th. Concerts will take place in various parks throughout Greensboro. Prepare to hear from some long-standing favorite local bands, including the Philharmonia of Greensboro, West End Mambo, and Dobie. Several musical acts will make their MUSEP debut this summer, including the party band Beauty Operators and the violinist and singer-songwriter Emmanuel Winter. Ryan Deal, the city's chief creative economy officer, said after 2 years of virtual and hybrid concerts, we look forward to welcoming our neighbors back for a full summer of in-person concerts at parks and other green spaces throughout our city. The summer concert lineup offers a broad range of musical acts. New this year, concert goers can look forward to food trucks and art activities on site. All concerts begin at 6 p.m. on Sundays, except on June 19th. That day, the concert will start at 2:30 p.m. For a list of the complete MUSEP concert schedule, visit the city's website. Coming up after the break, we'll showcase our department spotlight, but first, let's meet our neighbors who boomeranged back to Greensboro.
My name is Phoebe Murray, and I am a consultant in workforce retention and recruitment. I came back from the Triangle area because my family was ready to settle down and buy a home. Charles and I are fortunate that we're both primarily remote workers, so we have the flexibility to work from home at this point in our lives when we're trying to spend as much time as possible together with our family and watching our daughter grow up.
My name is JT Job, and I'm a software developer at Innovations for Learning. I left Greensboro in 2005, and it's changed so much since then. Greensboro is great for my career. Since I work remotely as a developer, there's a fantastic community of people working at a co-working space downtown. I love living in Fisher Park because it's so beautiful. The architecture, the trees, everything that you get with the historic district. And we have the beautiful actual park in the middle of the neighborhood that's just a great place to go walking with your dog.
My family and I love to just get out for walks in the neighborhood. We pop into Deep Roots and pick up groceries to cook for dinner. We love strolling around Fisher Park. It's just a beautiful neighborhood to live in.
I like to joke that this is the second pandemic our home's been through. It was built in 1913, so we know it's over 100 years old. My wife Keela and I are expecting our first, and we couldn't be happier to be bringing her up in this beautiful house in this great neighborhood.
Welcome back. The City of Greensboro has more than 20 departments and several divisions committed to serving you, our residents and visitors. Let's go behind the scenes in our department spotlight. GTA's Access GSO will move the service of premium rider trips to the Access iRide service beginning in August. The public can let the city know how they feel about the upcoming change. The series of virtual meetings will wrap up on Tuesday, June 7th at 6 p.m. and Wednesday, June 15th at 6 p.m. Since 2019, the City of Greensboro has offered Access iRide, which is similar to Uber. Riders do not share a vehicle with other people, and they receive door-to-door service by reservation only. Other benefits of iRide include the elimination of pickup windows, the ability to choose your favorite driver, and reserve a ride as early as 2 hours in advance. It's also worth noting the vehicles are ADA compliant. Premium paratransit riders will be charged the same fare as Access GSO and GTA users at $2 per trip. Straight ahead on the other side of the break is this week's Way to Go GSO shout out. Stay with us. As we draw to a close, we always want to end on a positive note with our Way to Go GSO shout out. This week's shout out goes to Greensboro's MWBE office. Allison Staten, Compliance Officer with the Minority and Women Business Enterprise, or MWBE office, received the Superstar Award for her application of the B2G Now management software. The software company held its annual conference in Arizona. Attendees were invited to share best practices in using the software, industry challenges, and ways the software could be improved. Since January 2020, the city's MWBE office has used B2G Now to monitor, track, and report supplier diversity and small business program data. Way to go, Allison Staten. That concludes this edition of FYI Weekly, but you can easily stay connected to the latest city news by linking to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Alexa users can subscribe to our 5-minute flash briefings, which airs on 90.1 FM and 100.7 FM. Be sure to download our weekly podcast, Talk City Greensboro, and now GTN is streaming on Roku. For all of us here at the City of Greensboro, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.